The rain came down in thin, unforgiving needles, tapping against the cracked pavement like it had somewhere better to be. Marcus Reed pulled his coat tighter around his shoulders, though it did little to stop the cold. The coat was old, too old, its elbows shiny with wear, its lining frayed, but it was all he had left that still felt like protection. In his right hand, he held a small paper bag. Inside was a half sandwich and an apple bruised on one side. His dinner, maybe his breakfast too, if hunger didn't win before morning. Marcus was a black father, in a city that rarely looked at men like him, unless it was to look past them. Once he had been a warehouse supervisor. Once his hands had been clean at the end of the day. Then the company downsized. And his name, along with most of the other black workers, was suddenly no longer needed. That was 3 years ago. Everything since had been a slow, quiet fall. He stopped outside the diner on 8th Street, its neon sign flickering like it couldn't decide whether to stay alive. Through the fogged glass he could see people inside, warm, dry, laughing. He didn't go in. He never did. Even when he had money, the looks had been enough to make him uncomfortable. Now, with nothing but coins in his pocket, the idea felt impossible. Marcus turned toward the bus stop instead. His daughter Lila would be waiting for him at home. She was 12, too smart for her age, and carried her worries like an adult. Marcus hated that most of all, that his child had learned early how fragile life could be. As he approached the bench, he noticed someone already sitting there. She was a woman in a gray coat, her posture stiff, her hands folded neatly in her lap. She looked out of place, clean shoes, styled hair, a quiet kind of elegance that didn't belong to this part of the city at night. Her face was pale under the streetlight, eyes focused straight ahead. Marcus slowed. He'd learned to be careful. Too many times, just his presence had made people nervous. He considered standing instead, but the rain pushed him forward. He sat at the far end of the bench, leaving a respectful distance. They sat in silence for a few moments, the sound of traffic and rain filling the space between them. Then Marcus noticed her hands shaking, not from the cold alone. There was something else, fear maybe, or exhaustion. "You okay?" he asked softly, his voice rough from disuse. She turned to him quickly, surprise flashing across her face. For a split second, something like suspicion crossed her eyes. Marcus saw it. He always did. "I'm fine," she said, a little too quickly. He nodded and looked away, not wanting to make her uncomfortable. He pulled the paper bag from his pocket and stared at it, debating. His stomach growled, sharp and demanding. Minutes passed. The rain grew heavier. "I don't think the bus is coming," she said suddenly, her voice quieter now. "Yeah," Marcus replied. "It's late. Sometimes they skip this route." She sighed, rubbing her temples. "Just my luck." Marcus hesitated, then did something he hadn't planned. He opened the bag, took out the sandwich, and broke it in half. He extended one piece toward her, keeping his eyes down. "You should eat something," he said. "Helps with the cold." She stared at the sandwich like it was something unreal. "Oh, I can't," she said. "That's yours." "It's okay," Marcus replied. "I'll manage." That wasn't true, but he didn't say it. Her eyes moved from the sandwich to his face, really looking at him now. She saw the lines of tiredness, the quiet dignity, the way he held himself like a man who had lost much but not everything. "Thank you," she said finally, taking it with shaking hands. They ate in silence. The rain softened. "My name's Elena," she said after a while. "Marcus." She nodded. "You waiting on the bus too?" "Yeah, going home to my daughter." Her expression changed. "You have a child?" 12, smartest person I know." A small smile appeared on her face. "She's lucky." Marcus didn't answer. Luck felt like a word meant for other people. A police car rolled past slowly, its headlights sweeping over them. Marcus felt his body tense automatically. His shoulders tightened, his breathing slowed. Elena noticed. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," he said, though his eyes followed the car until it disappeared. "Just used to watching." She frowned slightly but didn't press. Another bus stop light flickered on down the street. Still no bus. "Can I ask you something?" Elena said. "Sure." "Why did you offer me your food?" she asked. "You don't even know me." Marcus thought for a moment. "Because I do know what it feels like," he said. "To be cold, to be alone, to feel like nobody sees you." Her grip tightened around the sandwich. "I see you," she said quietly. The words hit him harder than he expected. They sat there a little closer now, the distance between them no longer heavy. Marcus told her about Lila, about the jobs that never called back, about how some days felt like he was invisible unless someone needed someone to blame. Elena listened. Really listened. When Marcus finished, she took a deep breath as if bracing herself. "There's something I haven't told you," she said. He turned toward her. Before she could continue, the distant rumble of an approaching bus echoed down the street. Headlights appeared through the rain, growing brighter. Elena looked at the bus, then back at Marcus. Her expression filled with something unreadable, regret, urgency, and something else he couldn't name. "Marcus," she said softly, "when this bus arrives, things are going to change." He frowned. "What do you mean?" The bus pulled closer, its brakes hissing. Elena stood up, her posture suddenly different, stronger, steadier. "I promise you," she said, meeting his eyes. "This isn't the end of your story." Marcus didn't know why, but for the first time in years, he believed her. The bus doors opened with a loud sigh, light spilling onto the wet street as the rain continued to fall. The bus doors stayed open longer than usual, as if even the driver sensed something heavy in the air. Rain slid down the windows in crooked lines. Marcus hesitated, then stepped inside behind Elena. The warmth hit him first, then the silence. Conversations faded as people looked up. Some stared openly. Others glanced quickly and looked away. Marcus felt it instantly, the familiar weight pressing down on his chest. A black man in worn clothes, water dripping from his coat, standing beside a woman who clearly did not belong to his world. Elena noticed the looks too. "Come sit," she said, gently touching his arm. The touch was light, respectful, but even that small gesture caused whispers. Marcus sat near the back, keeping his eyes down. Elena sat beside him, straight-backed, calm. The bus lurched forward. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. "You didn't answer me earlier," Marcus finally said. "You said things would change. Why?" Elena exhaled slowly. "Because tonight wasn't an accident." He turned to her. "What do you mean?" She looked out the window first, as if gathering courage. "I wasn't just waiting for a bus, Marcus. I was supposed to be somewhere else. A fundraiser." He frowned. "Then why were you at that stop?" "Because I asked my driver to drop me there." That got his full attention. Elena met his eyes. "I needed to see something for myself." Marcus felt unease creep in. "See what?" "The city," she said. "The part people like me only talk about." Before he could respond, the bus jolted to a stop. 2 police officers boarded. Marcus's body reacted before his mind could. His hands rested flat on his knees. His breathing slowed, his gaze fixed forward. One officer scanned the bus. His eyes lingered on Marcus. "Ticket," the officer said sharply. Marcus reached into his pocket, fingers stiff. He pulled out a crumpled pass, expired. He knew it the moment he saw it. I can get off at the next stop," Marcus said quietly. "I'm just trying to get home." The officer's jaw tightened. "Step off the bus, now." Elena stood immediately. "Is there a problem, officer?" The officer looked surprised, then annoyed. "Ma'am, please sit down." "No," she said firmly. "This man was invited to sit here by me. If there's an issue, I'd like to understand it." The officer scoffed. "He doesn't have a valid pass." Elena reached into her bag and pulled out her wallet. Inside was a black card, subtle but unmistakable. "I'll cover it," she said. "And I'll be filing a complaint. If he's treated differently than any other passenger." The officer froze for half a second. He recognized the card. His tone shifted. "No need for that," he muttered, waving his hand. "Just be careful next time." They exited the bus. The doors closed. The bus moved again. Marcus stared at Elena, stunned. "That card? Who are you?" She swallowed. "My full name is Elena Whitmore." The name landed hard. Whitmore Industries was everywhere. Housing, transportation, private security contracts. The same company that had taken over Marcus's warehouse. The same company whose policies had pushed him out. "You own the company," Marcus said slowly. "I'm the CEO," she replied. "And the daughter of the man who built it." Anger flared in his chest, hot and sudden. "Then you're the reason I lost my job." Elena didn't flinch. "Yes." Silence filled the space between them, thicker than the rain outside. "You shared your last meal with me," she continued softly. "Without knowing who I was? Without asking for anything?" Marcus looked away. "Doesn't change what your company did." "No," she said. "But it changes what I have to do." The bus stopped again. This time Marcus stood. This is my stop, he said. My daughter's waiting. Elena stood too. Let me come with you. He shook his head. You've done enough. Please, she said. Just 5 minutes. After a long pause, he nodded. They walked through dim streets to a small apartment building with chipped paint and broken lights. Inside, Lila sat on the couch, homework spread out. Dad, she said, jumping up. Marcus smiled. Hey, Peanut. Lila noticed Elena immediately. Who's she? A friend, Marcus said. Elena knelt slightly to meet Lila's eyes. Your father is a good man, she said. You should be proud of him. Lila smiled. I am. Something in Elena's face broke then. The next morning, everything changed. Marcus woke to a knock at the door. Outside stood a man in a suit holding papers. Marcus Reed? He asked. I'm here on behalf of Whitmore Industries. Marcus's heart sank. We'd like to offer you your position back, the man continued. With full back pay and a formal apology. Marcus stared. Why? The man hesitated. Because the CEO spent the night reviewing termination records, and she wasn't pleased. Weeks passed. Policies changed. Audits began. Names long ignored were called back. Discrimination lawsuits were settled before they reached court. And Elena didn't stop there. She stood in front of cameras and told the truth. About the systems that benefited from silence. About how racism didn't always shout, it calculated. Marcus didn't become rich overnight, but he became secure. More importantly, Lila saw a world where dignity could be defended. One evening, months later, Marcus sat on a bench at the same bus stop. Elena sat beside him. You still waiting on the bus? She asked. He smiled. Yeah, but not afraid of where it'll take me anymore. She nodded. Neither am I,